Welcome back to Whitt Acres. Today we're going to take the end of the month June garden stroll.
And hopefully we'll get it in before the rain starts.
They're calling for pretty severe thunderstorms with heavy rain and high winds, so I want to try and get around the gardens and show you what they're looking like before we get everything destroyed.
Starting here off the patio, we have the 9-bark in the center, and we also have the daylilies blooming and the hostas blooming up behind there. The poppies are still blooming on the bottom level. Another hosta blooming in here. This is actually a volunteer that I just left go. The 4 o'clocks are coming in too. These are volunteers. They come back each year, and they're pretty neat because they only bloom in the evening time. We have more of the 4 o'clocks coming up over here. The lupins are pretty much done. You can see their seed pods on there right now. They're kind of furry, a little bit weird, like a furry bean. But we have the Virginia creeper in there going around the hostas that are blooming, and it's actually going up the wall, which looks pretty neat, but we can't let it go into the ceiling at all. But I like the look of a really grown-in garden, something you'd see at your grandparents' house. Pop. We do have some yellow poppies blooming here and some that volunteered on the other side. They actually look really good here. We have volunteer poppies and a volunteer snapdragon that I just couldn't have planted there, but they look so good volunteered right there. The sunflowers actually held up from the last storm that came through. I'm really happy to see that, and I'm hoping they hold up with this storm because they still have some blooming to do. I can hear the thunder coming. We have the hostas blooming along the driveway here and the daylilies, so we have the orange and purple, which I think is just beautiful. You can see how the far daisies got blown down in the last storm. But I now have the turkey moved out here. This is the meat flock of turkey, and they're getting real big, so they had to get their own bigger box. They're in the bird box now, so they should have plenty of protection from the rain that comes through. But these ditch lilies and the hostas are just looking gorgeous. I have a lot of these, and I keep separating them around the property. And then I got in all the white Shasta daisies, which I think is a really nice accent going along with everything. And it goes well with the white marble I have on the pathways. I have more white Shasta daisies over here at the pergola, but the firelight hydrangea is also blooming back there white. And the white yucca actually finished up already. Behind the daisies here is my dark tuxedo hydrangea, and if we get close we can actually see one cluster of blooms starting on this thing. That's really nice. I don't know if it gets enough sun actually back here, but we're getting one little cluster of blooms, and I can't wait to see what color it is. The firelight hydrangea is a nice landscape hydrangea. It puts on a nice beautiful show you can see from a distance. And the pollinators love the flowers, but they are pretty spread out, so they don't do that well in cut flower arrangements. But some things are meant to be in the landscape where I put them. We have some gladiolas coming up here. I hope they survive. I'm not going to actually stake all these yet. But we have calla lilies coming up in this hedge. We have some pokeweed and stuff, but I can't have a perfect garden. And above our heads, we actually have the red trumpet vine blooming. It puts on little clusters of red blooms all over, and the hummingbirds actually love this one. What? What you doing? You do you, pup. That storm is getting closer. But I think the pergola's been filling in nicely up here, looking pretty good. This blue star abelia is just looking gorgeous. Look how big it got. I love how it moves. And the pink lilies are going to be blooming here soon. The hedge of calla lilies are doing well down here. I have some pokeweed and other weeds through here, but I can't keep it looking perfect. But I do love how the sunflowers are just popping up through here. They're going to add a nice little pop of color back there. More of the hostas are starting to bloom back here along the hanger, making a nice hedge. And the one off the corner, and another sunflower back there. There's actually a few sunflowers back here on the back side of the pergola. And the red dahlias survived the storm too. We had a lot of wind coming this direction, but these little stakes and of course the big building right here helped. And I don't remember planting any elephant ears this year, so that's really cool that this one actually came back over winter. I did get my gourds all planted around the base of the pergola here, but they're not vining out yet to actually attach to the pergola. But coming out this side, we have more hostas blooming. Another pink lily that's going to just be gorgeous and massive this year. An extremely tall yellow echinacea right here. It's actually as tall as I am, 6'4". And the silver lace vine is just filling out the archway and the green wall just beautifully. I hear that thunder just rumbling over there. But the silver lace vine is blooming gorgeous right now, and we also have the honeysuckle blooming. So 3 of the 4 front vines are blooming on the pergola. The last one that's going to bloom is the sweet autumn clematis, and this one doesn't bloom until later in the season. But it's growing up its trellis pretty good. It's about 6 feet tall right now. 8 feet will take it to the top of the pergola. We do have some sweet smells coming off of the honeysuckle here. And inside the pergola, we have the silver lace vine going a little bit crazy.
But my brother recently asked me to help his neighbor out and get her garden weeded for her. She's a little bit older now, so she can't get up and down like she used to.
And she had a lot of liatris at her house, and she said I could take some of it, so I pulled 2 clumps out. I actually didn't get them planted yet. Hopefully this rain will help keep them watered in, because they're in mid-bloom right now, just looking gorgeous. It's a beautiful shade of color. This is also called gay feather. It has a lot of different names to it. But there's this purple liatris, which is just beautiful, but I also have a white liatris in the side garden.
Come on, pup, we're on the move.
Down here around the pond, I didn't do a lot of work into this bank at all. I did get it weeded once. Puppy, you must be hot. You don't normally lay down in the water, huh, pup? You got a dirty face. But I actually didn't get a lot of work done here in the pond garden. All the blooms you see are volunteers. Don't go too far, pup. Yeah, you know where the stream is. We are getting some beautiful color from the sunflowers, and the bees are just loving all the Chinese forget-me-not through here. And we also have the perennial purple oxalis blooming down there. But the creeping Jenny's starting to lose its color. The sedum's done blooming. We do have one calla lily up there at the top of the waterfall blooming, but it's getting overtaken by weeds. I do like a grown-in and full garden, but if I had the time, I would get in there and weed that out. These sunflowers are looking gorgeous, and as you can tell, the gladiola survived the storm last time too. And it's starting to put on some more color, so I'm hoping it makes it through this round too. But the only work I did on this side of the bank was actually go through and hand weed it one time. And I think it turned out pretty good with that much effort put in. We have the volunteer calendula at the bottom, the sunflowers of course, and then we have some volunteer portulaca down there that's not quite blooming today because it's not sunny. And then the perennials come in with the purple hosta blooming gorgeous on that corner, draping over the rocks. Echo's at the beach right now. Dabbles is actually inside, but him and his ducks pruned that hosta for me so it wasn't hanging too low. And beside that, we have the purple pugster buddleia bush that's just looking gorgeous, and the butterflies and the hummingbirds just keep coming to it. And I've already seen the butterflies on the gladiola, so I know they're going to keep coming to it as it keeps opening up. I just saw some, oh, the geyser. I just saw some lightning to the south, so that storm should be getting closer. Or right over top of me. Pop. But I think the pond bank's looking pretty good for minimum effort. I'm not exactly sure what happened to the hosta and the spiderwort here. It looks like someone dumped a bucket of water on it. I didn't. But we have the orange daylily still blooming here. Underneath, we have a couple of snapdragons adding a little bit of color. Outside the wall, we actually have a bunch of volunteer zinnias, and one's about to bloom. Ooh, we just had some lightning over there. Yeah, and the rain's starting to come down now. Hey, Dabbles. You probably shouldn't be playing in the pool, bud. No, you and Maggie get out of the pool. We'll jump down here in the vegetable garden before the rain gets too bad. Come on, what are you doing, pup? It ain't time to play. We have a nice full calla lily blooming here at the garden entrance. Also a sunflower right there on the corner. Now, I didn't get into the vegetable garden to do any weeding though, so we have a lot of weeds coming up here in the pathways. But the hostas and the calla lilies are blooming pretty nicely over here. You can see how much they got singed up whenever we had that really dry weather. I don't water anything in my garden, so everything's just up to Mother Nature. I keep missing the lightning. But the pollinator ring is starting to bloom nicely here. The butterfly bush is in full bloom, and we have calla lilies popping up around it. We also have gladiolas coming in. These yellow ones are really nice. I had to do some major surgery on my pumpkin here, so I'm hoping it's going to bounce back. I'm trying to add a lot more water. I think I let it go too dry. This was the one thing I was trying to water, and I still didn't water this one enough. The sunflowers down here are looking beautiful. All the volunteers that came up, they're blooming nicely. I hope they don't get blown over. Uh-oh, the storm's really starting to pick up here. The potatoes are growing really well. I need to get in there and hill those again. And we do have watermelon and some of the other squash coming up here on the squash mound, but I need to get in there and thin them and actually water them in a lot better. The fabric actually blew up real bad in the last storm, so I had to put some stuff on there and try and hold it down. Uh-oh, it's picking up. Puppy, you trying to take shelter, bud? All right, let's take shelter. Go. All the animals should be good. They know what to do. Dabbles? Dabbles, take shelter. All right, it's coming. We might pick this garden tour up after.
Well, this was a little bit shorter of a garden stroll than I wanted to do, but the rain kept coming and we didn't get any time to finish it up. So that's going to be all for this one. If you want to keep following along with everything here at Whitt Acres, make sure to subscribe down below. Hit that like button before you leave and you can see me and Echo on the next one. Thanks for watching.